Yo, what's going on, guys? It is non-reality, and in today's video, I wanted to bring up this video that I didn't want to make a video on it, but it's gotten a lot of views recently, and it's the state of Black Desert Online, by a dude named Bright Life, and it's had 36,000 views in 2 weeks, and I didn't want to make a video on it because personally, I think a lot of the criticism in this game is just false info, and people usually won't like believe it off rip, but I read some of the comments, and so many of the comments were like, bro, thanks for letting me know how this game actually is. I was gonna play it, but now I'm not going to because of the monetization that you've shown in the video and all this stuff. And it kind of annoyed me because first of all, this dude's never played BDO past like the first couple levels. Like he shows in the video, he kind of does the lazy peon style of doing an MMO where he shows his early game progression and gives like his own personal opinions, which at the end of the day, there are his personal opinions at the beginning of the video, which is why we're going to skip towards the monetization point in the video. But I just want to quickly go over the overview of his first impressions, because I think he does make actually a lot of good points in the first impressions part of the video. He says about how the story is kind of just there. It doesn't really make sense, which is completely true. He talks about how the UI is super cluttered and whatnot, and how there's just a bunch of pop-ups and all this stuff that is hard to learn. Now, I do agree a lot of the things in this video, like he talks about all this battle pass stuff. I do agree that a lot of things in this video or in the game early on are very hard to learn as a new player, especially if you don't read everything, because they do explain a ton of stuff in while reading. But obviously, as most of you know, maybe that you're watching this video, BDO community does not like reading. We just click R through all of the content and we get to end game, or at least the grinding part of the game. So I do understand where that comes from. And then he also says in the video, this is one thing I don't agree on. He says that to figure out the game, he has to look up guides. I personally take that as a positive, not only just because I'm a YouTuber that makes guides on the game, but just because when you have guides, it makes it harder for you to mess up and you can actually like figure out. So it just makes it faster as well. If you didn't have guides in any MMO, it'd take twice as long to do raids and other content. So I think guides are positive in my opinion, not a negative. But we're gonna watch some of his monetization. I cannot speak monetization part, and just see what he says. It is a little bit long. It's about 5 minutes of him talking about it. I'm gonna give my personal opinions and why I think a lot of the things he says are complete bullshit, basically. And he might claim this video if he doesn't like what I'm saying, and I personally don't care. I just wanted to get this video out here for the players that want to try this game and they think that this is a legit video starting at this point.
You have to go recover them at the stable master. It's like a whole game within the game, and I think that's really, really cool. I have heard that a little bit of the monetization does come from the improvement of your mount, which we will talk about later, but it's not really a big deal to me because initially, this is really cool. They also
All right, we'll start there just right off the bat. He talks about how the horse has cool feet. Obviously, he doesn't know much about the horses. He just got one. He says that it's a game inside a game. It's really not. You just level up your horse with the skills and whatnot. Now let's talk about the monetization. Jesus Christ, of horses. Now, when you level up a horse, it gets skills, and you can buy skill coupons to change the skills. Now, that part I will say straight up is pay to win, or at least harder to get that, because they do give out free coupons every once in a while for mount changes. Like I have 17 and I haven't bought a single mount change, so they do give you some, but they're not super common. But you don't really have to worry about mount skills until you get to your dream horse. Now he says later on that the dream horse is pay to win. That's not exactly true, because he talks about how you have to get like these mount packs that give you these items to upgrade your horse to get to dream horse, and you need cron stones and all that. Cron stones you can buy in game with silver, which you can grind. Those items you need to upgrade the horse to a dream horse, you can buy in game. You can farm in game. Like I've farmed probably 600 of them just by playing the game. So sure, you can buy it, but to me, pay to win isn't like. So there's multiple ways to say pay to win, and I don't really want to get into that, like, because this is my opinion on the game. But pay to win to me is something that you can buy for a cheap enough price that anyone could buy it, and it gives you a very high advantage. So what I'm talking about is like if a game has something like, let's take WoW for example. You can buy a WoW token for $60 and you can use that gold and get full max gear by paying someone to carry you through with the gold that you got from the token through a mythic raid and get, max level gear. Or at least that's how it used to be. I haven't played recently. So like right there, that's what I call pay to win. Because $60, a lot of people can do that. Obviously, there's a lot of people that can't do that, and that's where the pay to win comes in. But like a majority of people can do that. In this game, to get around 200, oh no, it's 800 million silver. You need to spend about $30 on a uh on a costume, and then you have to sell it. Now, 800 million silver is the price you buy it for, and then you have to take off tax from the value pack and like all that stuff, and you end up getting like 6 to 700 million silver. Now, 6 to 700 million silver you can farm in literally like 30 to hour. I'll be generous, an hour for like normal players if you're not like super high end game. Normal players, an hour you can farm 600 million silver. So you pay to win, you either spend $30 or you play an hour. So that's not really pay to win in my opinion. Anyone can get that silver. Let's move on here.
Also really vibe with the sermons in this game. Got him saying nay men, am I right? Please subscribe. Hey friends, I want to take a quick moment to talk about kind of the big M-shaped elephant.
We're gonna move on a bit.
We've been conditioned to treat one another in recent years is that we can't seem to respect you, and I hope that this game brings you a ton. Talking about monetization in Black Desert Online is a subject that could be talked about for hours and is highly controversial. I'm going to do my best to condense down how this game handles the subject, but I want to give a massive shout out to Kira TV, and you asked Pearl Abyss how much monetization they wanted in their game. Their answer would be yes. When it comes to monetization, Pearl Abyss has decided to eat its cake and have it too, and then eat it again. There is a box price for this game, which is pretty normal. Granted, the box price is often on sale, but this will cost you between $10 and $50. Not
right there, already false info. So the game goes on sale. So it was free like a couple months ago. The base game, which includes all the content, is anywhere from $0 to $15. He says 10 to 50. Anything above $15, like 25, 30, the $50 packs, those are for in-game items you can buy along with. That's like a premium, like in Lost Ark when you bought the pre-launch like packs that had like a free pet or whatever. That's that kind of stuff. You don't need to buy that at all. It's either free or you buy it for $10. And if you buy it for $10, that's your choice. You just wait for it to go on sale. It goes on sale every single month for like 99 cents. So that right there, false info.
Not too bad, very normal in the MMO realm. But there is more. There's also an optional, but you'd be done not to have it, $15 per month subscription in the form of a value pack with all the benefits that I'll show you on the screen now. These will help.
Okay, this part's true. You pay for a value pack. Sometimes it's on sale. It's less than 15, but how the pearl shop works, you're gonna have to spend $15 to get the amount of pearls you need anyway. So that's true. But like most MMOs, there is some sort of subscription. Like WoW, you have to pay for the base game, you have to pay for expansions, you have to pay for subscriptions. Same with Final Fantasy 14, base game subscription, DLCs. In this, it's literally just you pay for the game, 99 cents free, $10, whatever it is, and then you pay for a $15 value pack. Now there is other 2 packs in the game, the Chem Sylvia and the Old Moon packs. You can buy those in game with silver currency super easily. They're like 150 to 200 million silver, which like is 20 minutes, 30 minutes of grinding, if that, and it lasts you for 30 days. So, or 15 days, I think it is. So that's literally nothing.
Help you in your life skills in PvP grinds and would be considered pretty essential at endgame.
It is essential, it's true.
Approaching the Final Fantasy and ESO and WoW realms, not horrific, but this is where it really starts to go downhill. Because thirdly and sadly, this is a fully pay-to-win game with the developers going out of their way to arbitrarily inconvenience their players to get them to pay more money, and a lot of money. Now,
I disagree.
In order to understand this, you have to understand that this game is not like
I don't think you understand.
With its end game, where the grinding at end game leads to a goal, like a raid boss clear. In this game, grinding is the end game. You set personal goals for yourself as a player, and then you grind to achieve.
It depends on how you play the game. A lot of people will say endgame is PvP, which at the end of the day, the hardest content is PvP, uncapped node wars and whatnot. Personally, I don't mind PvP, but I only do it for the rewards, and then I do PvE. So like my end game is just trying to do better PvP to get better gear.
Achieve those things. Now, love it or hate it, that's just kind of how this game and a lot of other Eastern MMOs tend to work. Now, knowing that, essentially there are 3 endless end game grinds that are made extremely inconvenient to the player unless you spend cash.
False.
First 2 are PvE mob grinding, which is where you go in a big circle and kill things and try to avoid mechanics, and you earn gold and power that way. And then there's life skill grinding, like fishing, trapping, farming, things like that, where you're kind of more of a crafter. Now, without paying real money for the armor sets that are found only in the store that give necessary bonuses to level these skills at anything higher than a snail's pace, and paying real money for the additional required gems as you level up for those armor slots, you're going to have a terrible time leveling these skills because
I don't even know what he's talking about here personally. I thought we were doing a BDO guide, not a Lost Ark guide. But there's no in-game armor sets that you have to pay for with real money in the shop. There's cosmetic armor sets that give like 10% XP bonus, this and that, but you literally get them for free. Like literally, if you go to garmouth.com and you go to coupons, there's at least one there that give you a free skin set that gives you like literally minuscule bonuses. Like 10% XP is nothing. You literally get free scrolls that give you 430% XP for completely free. And the gems things, I don't even know what he's talking about. There's like no gems in the store at all that you can even buy. Every single first of all, I don't even know what he's talking about gems. That's not even a thing in this game. It's crystals. And crystals literally you can buy from the central market for silver. There's no place to buy them even in the store at all. So this is just false info that he must have got from his like chat who just hates BDO, or maybe he got it from another content creator that made another shit video. I'm not sure, but this is completely false. There's no such thing as like store purchased gear.
because Pearl Abyss has designed this game to inconvenience those who don't pay to win. Now, frustratingly for me, Pearl Abyss calls these purchases pay for convenience, but in reality, as Kira in his video puts it, these purchases are pay to not be inconvenienced. Pearl Abyss creates arbitrary inconveniences that punish players who don't pay to win. You aren't starting at a neutral spot with the payers getting a slightly better deal. All players start at an extremely disadvantaged spot, and you have to pay to get the game that Pearl Abyss should have given you in the first place.
This is just completely false. So personally, I just want to bring this up real quick. Personally, I've spent probably $50 on BDO, and that was basically just the value pack and then some skins that I wanted personally just because I wanted to look cool. I have a Max Fairy completely free to play. I have a Dream Horse completely free to play. I have Max Storage and Velia and Heidel completely free to play. I have Bis Crystals completely free to play. I generally have no idea what he's talking about starting at a disadvantage. Obviously, there's like the tent. You don't even need the tent. It is just something that helps so you don't have to run to like a repair person every like couple hours. But even then, that's like, you know, if you want to, like there's some grind spots where the repair person's right next to it, like Sakraya. Like you literally walk 2 feet and there's a repair person. But tent is nice to have. So, you know, if you want to chalk that up to part of like spending in this game, then that's fine. It's like you can get on sale tent for like 10-15 bucks. So, you know, that's, you know, let's chalk that up. $10-15. Base game's free or 10 bucks. Value pack. So you're spending like $30, if that.
Especially with a subscription fee. But if we got to be real with ourselves, that's actually not that bad, because these skills that you're grinding are all PvE. You're not inconveniencing or harming anybody else, other players in the game, by buying these pay-to-win mechanics. You're just speeding up your personal process.
Pretty sure he's talking about like the value pack XP bonus and stuff here, possibly.
And you're adding to the convenience of your gameplay. However, the third endless grind, in my opinion, really pushes BDO into real scummy monetization territory, the territory of things like Lost Ark and Diablo Immortal. And that's the fact that the third endless grind is forced open world PvP.
Before he even talks about this, this is hilarious because, like, if you're not at like one of the end game spots, you're barely ever going to run into anyone that actually wants to fight you, because not a lot of people actually know how to PvP in this game. Like, it is a very difficult PvP game. But like, when you sorry, I lost my train of thought there. When you are grinding at a spot, someone will come up to you and be like, hey, do you want to duel for spot? And you either say yes and then you duel for the spot. If you lose, you lose, or you say no, and then at that point they could flag on you and kill you. Now at this point it becomes a game of endurance, whoever stays there the longest, because if someone kills you over and over and over again, they're going to lose karma and they're going to get to a point where they can't even enter cities anymore. So this whole notion of like, oh, once you hit level 50 you're going to be able to PvP and everyone's going to kill you and they're all going to have better gear than you. I like I said, I barely spent money on this game, and I'm at the point where I can literally kill anyone in the game, like literally anyone, if I'm better at PvP. One thing that people don't notice is that like you're probably just bad at PvP if you're dying to people constantly, if you're in the zones that you're supposed to be grinding at. Like there's very rare times where someone that is super geared, like will come down to a 150 AP spot to kill you. It just doesn't happen. And even if it does, you switch to one of the 50 servers that are in the game and just start grinding again. It literally doesn't matter. But yeah, forced open world PvP, this is just complete BS what he talks about.
Essentially, once you hit level 50 in this game, you are flagged for PvP in the open world.
Already semi-wrong, you actually have to flag yourself, and everyone does have to flag themselves. And you can't, if they hit you, then you can hit them, but it's not like you can see someone immediately attack them.
Always. You can't get away from it. You can't turn it off. It is just there. And without
technically you can turn it off, but like technically you can't. It's kind of whatever.
Currency, you are always going to be behind the person who can spend a ton of money to level up their PvP side quickly.
That's true and false. So he says ton of money, which does make sense. If you have $200,000 to spend on this game, you can get to where I'm at in like 10 minutes. Probably not actually, because you still have to do the RNG enhancing. But I got to where I'm at completely free to play. But yeah, if you want to spend, if you have $200,000 to spend on this game, go ahead. Go ahead. But if you have $10, you ain't getting anywhere in this game. $500, you ain't getting anywhere in this game.
You can't avoid it because it's forced PvP. You'll get rolled faster than my Southern Mama's cinnamon rolls by the folks that are able to pay to win. Essentially, your whale food. Now, can you level these for free? Well, the consensus is yes, but not really. If you were to grind daily for 8 hours per day, then you could potentially get to where the paid players are, but it's going to take you years. It would be...
This is completely false. So shout out to Choice. He's doing a challenge right now where he gets to the top 6% of players in less than 100 days. And he's already hit it at like 40 days or 60 days, wherever he's at right now. He's going to make a full video on that later. So make sure you go watch that when it comes out. But he literally didn't spend, he spent like, I think he said he spent like $60 and that was just for the tent and a few pets. And he's in the top 6% of players completely free to play. And I think it's 6 hours a day he farmed for about 60 days. So that's literally nothing.
Really too slow to keep up with other players. That's just kind of how this game is built. However, once again, I will say this. What Kira says is really important. Some people really don't care about this, and I'm not saying that you should care or you have to care. If you love a game that's a little bit pay to win, you don't really mind, you just think the game is gorgeous and you love the skill farming, then great. Personally, I think that it drags down the respectability of MMOs at large when big games like Black Desert Online do this. I think that...
So this is kind of like agree and disagree. If you're one of those players where you're like, if I can't have it free to play, I don't want to play the game, then the game's probably not for you, because you can get a tent free to play, but it's not a good tent, and you can get cosmetics. Actually, yeah, what am I talking about? You can get everything free to play. I don't. Yeah, you can literally get everything in this game free to play.
If the casual gamer were to stumble onto BDO, especially since it's a very well advertised game, they might assume that all MMOs have this kind of scummy monetization, and that's frustrating to me because I want to see more players in the MMO space, but it kind of is what it is. My biggest recommendation for BDO is to know what you're getting into. Don't play this game without knowing that at endgame, you're going to be asked to fork over a lot of cash if you want to stay competitive and play the game that you've been sold on throughout your leveling experience.
This is completely false. Like I said, I have 1,000 hours in this game and I've spent like $50 and I can literally kill anyone in the game. And that's basically all I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about his rapid fire pros and cons because those are his opinions on the game and his opinions are his opinions. And then, yeah. So at the end of the day, I just want to say that like 90% of this video is just completely false. He obviously didn't know that. He just watched other YouTubers that made guys on the game that also barely played the game. And like, if you ask like an OG player in like a Discord or something, you're like, hey, is the game pay to win? They're going to say yes, because they played the game back when it was pay to win. Right now, the game is completely not pay to win unless you have $100,000, $200,000 laying around that you want to spend on the game to get to the top 6% of players. But you could literally do that in about like 60 to 100 days if you just have the time to play. Even if you only have 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day to play, you can still get to where the players are pretty fast with all the stuff that they give you in this game. But hopefully this video helps clear up some things, and you know, no hate towards Bright Life. Like, he just doesn't know. He only probably has like 20 hours in this game, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's just one of those things where, like, you know, that's 36,000 views, so it's 36,000 players that might not play the game now because of what he said in this video. But yeah, if you guys did like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.